Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We had a heck of a game. Let me leave my seat back a little bit. My car is hot. Hasn't been working lately. But this is where I shoot my videos. So if I need to sweat it out, I will sweat it out, bro. It's a work in progress. It's about grinding for that win, dude. All right. Let's get into it. I've been drinking. Excited. This game was awesome for the defense. All I gotta say is they did their work. Jonathan Gannon, you did, a little bit better. But let's give credit to the corners that made interceptions. And Darius Slay got 2, and I believe Maddox got the other interception. But starting off with the first drive, Eagles received the ball, and on the first drive, we had a sack, 2 rushes for 7 yards. He had 5 passes, 5 for 5 on passing, 63 yards, 7 yards, and a TD. Hurts did. We had 2 rushes with Sanders, 14 yards. Scott had a carry for 3. I liked how he mixed it up. We had, running backs in there, 3 carries for 2 different running backs. But I just want to start off by saying, last week I said I only wanted Hurts to carry for 55 yards. And guess what? This week he carried for 57. And I'm very happy. I saw a lot of good slides today. And that's just what he has to fucking do. Period. He has to slide, dude. Moving on. We're at a score of Vikings 0, Eagles 7. After Hurts grinded for that TD for 2 or 3 yards. And on the Vikings' first drive, they ran it once, they passed it, they had a reception, and then they had an incomplete punt. So our defense came to play, and I was happy for that punt. And then on the second drive, Hurts, he fumbles the ball, but Sanders picks it up for -3 yards. And then he was sacked, and he had a reception of 16. So after that, we punted. I saw the fumble, and the fumble hit him in the chest. Like, I don't know if it was the hard count or when he says HUD or how he's supposed to say HUD, but he might have said a word that they practice all the time with that made Kelsey snap the ball. He needs to pay attention. I mean, I feel like Sanders saved his life. It hit Hurts in the chest, fell on the ground, and before Hurts could even react, Sanders picked it up and just got tackled. Like, not even half a yard after that. So they were in the shotgun. So that's how Sanders lost 3 yards on that play. We end up punting. And the Vikings' second drive, they ran it, and then they went 1 for 1. They had a reception and then complete pass, and they punted again. So our defense is on high alert, and I'm loving the way the D's playing. They came to play, and on our third drive, we had 4 passes for 73 yards, including 153-yard reception pass to Watkins for a touchdown. I'm very happy. Sanders had 3 carries for 7 yards in that drive, along with that touchdown pass. But I'm very happy that Hurts is finding these guys, man. He needs to be passing for 300 yards. He needs touchdown passes, because this is what a quarterback does. Now, we know he can grind and he can run and push defenders. But like I said last week, he's not a running back, and we got 3 good running backs that can get that job done, especially Sanders. I saw Sanders pushing guys back and gaining more yards. Gotta throw that in there. Anyways, we had that big reception. I'm already going crazy at this point. It's Vikings 0, Eagles 14, and we're moving on to Vikings third drive, and Kirk Cousins starts get going. He goes 6 for 6. They had 3 runs in that drive. They drove, I believe it was 75 yards to score their first touchdown of the game. At this point, Kirk Cousins, they're moving fast. They're trying to move fast because their defense is on high alert. And the only concern I have here, excuse me, Cousins is 6 for 6. He did not have a single incompletion. And this concerns me. You know what I mean? Like you gotta at least, try to push for in like 1 or 2 incompletions. And don't get me wrong, the defense came to play today, and we'll continue that conversation. But yeah, that's the only. To be honest, this whole video, that's the only down talk I have for the defense on this drive, that the Vikings scored, and I'm not even that disappointed because they came to play today. So at this point, it's 7-14. Eagles are in the lead. So Eagles fourth drive. Hurts goes 2 runs for 11 yards. He goes 2 of 1 passing for 4 yards. Hurts had one run for -2 yards, and the Eagles punted. So yeah, now the Vikings are stopping us. And like last week, they won against the Packers 24-7. Let's not forget about that. And we won in a basically a shootout versus the Lions, who again scored 36 and beat the Commanders. So I mean, you gotta, as an Eagles fan, you gotta feel good that you beat the Lions, because even in their second week, they were on fire, and they end up, basically winning by 11. The Commanders tried to make a comeback, but I saw that game and they couldn't make it at the end. They lost 36-27. So then the Vikings fourth drive, they get the ball and they go 1 for 1, 1 pass reception, 1 incomplete pass, 1 run, and they punted. So Jesus, man, I'm sweating my ass off. Our defense they came back. They scored on their last drive, the Vikings, but they came back and stopped them to a 3-and-out, and that's impressive, dude. After they got going, they slowed them down. And on our fifth drive, the Eagles go. Hurts goes 2 of 1, passing for 30 yards. Scott had 2 carries for 15 yards. Sanders had 1 carry for 9 yards, and Hurts had 1 carry for 26 yards, including pushing 2 defenders, and then going with the football with 1 arm and pushing it in the end zone. I'm not gonna lie, dude. I was fucking excited, and I was pretty impressed by this touchdown. And they're bragging about how much he squatted and stuff. And listen, dude, this man is strong, and we know that he's strong. You know what I mean? But his concern, and they even announced it in the game, when they saw him sliding before tackles, they said, the Eagles sideline is happy, the fans are happy, and even the front office. And that's including myself. I'm happy to see Hurts sliding before tackles, because we don't need that guy getting hit. We just don't. He's making too much hype, making too much flashes, and people are going to try to attack him for that. Anyways, it's Vikings 7, Eagles 21. On the Vikings fifth drive, Cousins goes 0 for 3 incomplete passes, and the Vikings punt again. So our defense is doing tremendous at this point. It's still the first half. Eagles sixth drive, Hurts goes 3 of 1, 50 yards. 1 run for 9 yards. Gainwell goes 2 carries for 8 yards, and we get a field goal right before the half. And this is awesome, dude. It's 24-7 halftime. Um, and what a half that we played on offense and defense. We just played a tremendous game in the first half. So then the Vikings, and the third quarter starts. Vikings get the ball, and they win 2 runs. Cousins went 6 of 1. He had 6 receptions straight until they got into close to the red zone, and it was intercepted. I believe by Darius Slay. I think it was Darius Slay who had the first reception. I mean interception, and I was going crazy, man. Like we they got the ball back. They drove down the field, and we got an interception, and that's fucking badass, dude. Like they could have scored on that drive, and because of that pick, we turned it around and we got the ball back. And on the Eagles seventh drive, we had a sack. Hurts had 1 carry for 3 yards. He went 4 for 1 for 47 yards. Sanders had 3 carries for 17 yards, and we had our field goal blocked. This drive I'm gonna talk about. Okay, I felt like we fell asleep on that field goal. We had a guy on the facing the snap on the far left side unblocked. He just came right in, blocked that field goal. And that's something we got to work on this week, special teams. Because that would have been and that would have been and that would have could have only been, I know I've repeated the same thing 3 times. I've been drinking. Our score of the second half. And that's huge. Because to me that's a huge concern. Um our kicker tried to make the tackle, but the holder got the tackle. And I'm happy that we made the tackle, but we gotta get the snap off, the kickoff way faster, and we can't fall asleep on defenders being empty. Free freaking dashes inside to block field goals. We gotta work on our special teams this week. That's a bold drive that we need to focus on and watch film on. And the Vikings get the ball back with good field position. They were at the Eagles 30 after that block field goal. And they ran it once. They went 0 for 2, and then interception again. And I believe this one was Maddox. And that's impressive, man. 2 interceptions in our territory the opposing team has. And we get the ball back. We take those possessions away. Talk about defense coming to play today, dude. They came to play today. So the Eagles get the ball back. Hurts goes 1 carry for 1 yard. He threw 5 straight receptions for 34 yards. Sanders had 2 carries for 6 yards, and we punted. But penalties killed most of these drives. We had a lot of penalties that literally ineligible man downfield, holdings, false starts. We got to work on all that shit this week too. That has to be cleaned up. So the Vikings get the ball back. Cousins goes 4 for 6. Sack forced fumbled by Fletcher Cox. Let's go. I have his jersey in black. And the Vikings punted. So the Eagles on their 9th drive. Hurts goes 0 for 1. And 1 yard for negative 1 yards. He went 1 carry for negative 1 yards. That 0 for 1 pass was intercepted because it hit Gainwell in the chest. And it was intercepted by the Vikings with a very good, like a 9-yard return. And it put the Vikings in the red zone. It put them in the red zone. And on the Vikings' 9th drive, they went 0 for 3 passing, 2 incomplete passes, including 1 interception with Darius Lay's 2nd interception. And this is impressive, man. The secondary really came out to play today. And so the whole defense as a whole came out to play today. And look, Jonathan Gannon, they did their studying this week. But this has to be consistent. Hopefully next week we can stop Carson Wentz and the Commanders to 17, 20. If they can stop the Commanders to 20 points, we can win that game. Hopefully it'll be a 20-27 divisional win, but we're visiting them. We'll get to that bridge when we when we cross it. So the Eagles had the interception. On their 10th drive, the Hurts goes 1 carry for 7 yards. Sanders goes 5 carries for 26 yards. Scott goes 1 carry for 3 yards, and the Eagles had the punt. But the Vikings had to use 2 of their timeouts on that drive, and the Vikings last drive, Cousins went 8 for 1, moving all the way down the field, 2 runs, and it was sacked. And that sack ended the game. Okay, so the D-line, secondary, the whole defense, they get credit for this win. Okay, and I'm going to tell you why. Hurts finished 26 of 31, 333, 1 touchdown pass, 11 carries for 57 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Now, what I said last week, and you can check my video, that I wanted him to rush for 55 yards only. And he rushed for 57. So, thank you, Hurts. Thank you, offensive coordinator, whoever's calling the plays, Nick Sirianni, for finally limiting Hurts' carries. He had 11 carries to his 17 last week. And Sanders had 17 carries for 80 yards. He didn't have his 100, but I feel like we can give Sanders a little bit more carries and better design runs to limit this offense, to take a little bit more load off Hurts. Hurts had the 3 touchdowns today. 3 touchdowns. We had 24 points, so those 21 points came off of Hurts. I think we got to spread the offense around a little bit more. Excuse me. And Kirk Cousins went 27 of 46, 221. He had 2 rushes for 20 yards. He was the top rusher for the Vikings. So that's impressive for the defense, including 1 touchdown pass and 3 INTs. Cook, the Vikings running back, he had 6 carries for 17 yards. So defense gets the win today. And they get the win because the offense, the whole second half did not score. And that's probably because of the Vikings defense, but it's still inexcusable. We could have scored with the field goal, but it got blocked. We didn't get nothing really going in the second half because of penalties too. That's something that has to be corrected. We cannot go a first half, score 24, and we're up, 24-7, thinking the game's over. We got to go into the second half like it's 0-0. We got to get stuff done on offense. I don't even care if it's 3 or 10 points in the second half. Put something up there. Because if they come back in this game and we don't score in the second half, we go to overtime and risk it all and lose by a field goal or a touchdown? We gotta freaking score. Whether it's 6, I don't care if it's 3 field goals. Get on the board. Now, it's nice that we got freaking 24 points in the first half, but we didn't score shit in the second. They stopped us. They blocked the field goal. Now, you're lucky that we had a secondary and a whole defense as a whole that came to play today. Because, if they didn't come in the second half like last week when we were up, 24-14, And the Lions came all the way back and scored 35, and we won 38-35. We could have lost this game. So offense, y'all need to get going. Y'all can't be second off. Clean up the damn penalties, man. That's too much damn penalties. That's too much ineligible men downfield penalties. That's too much false starts. That's too much holds. Clean that shit up. Now we won, but I can't even say that this is a blowout win because we didn't score shit in the second half. They shut us out. Yes, on defense we shut them out, but it was literally a tie game in the second half. It was 0-0. So we gotta clean that shit up. I'm gonna end with that. The Eagles won. I was excited, man. The best exciting things that I saw in the second half was defenses, sacks, and interceptions. There was not really a lot of flashes on offense. I felt like they ran out of firepower. Jalen Hurts ran out of who to find or what to do. Figure it out. Get on the board in the second half. Because 24-7, that's not a big enough lead. Okay, it needs to be like 38, 41-7, and you could do whatever you want. But it was a 24-7 lead. Anyways, that's all I'm gonna end with the Eagles game, and it was a blast, man. I I had so much fun watching this game. Football, man, in general, I had a blast weekend again. Penn State won big. Marshall lost in overtime against Bowling Green. That was a heck of a game. I didn't get to really see much because I was watching it on the internet and it lags. But I know that they lost in overtime, and United. Unfortunately, I can't travel for the games. But if I did, I'd be there for the United Longhorns high school football on Friday. They lost 14-37. I did go to the Alexander versus San Marcos just because I'm a Friday Night Lights fan. I like watching live football in general, and high school is one heck of a game to watch. And it was a good game up to the fourth quarter. But Alexander lost 34-65. I won't get into details because it came out to like controversial game where the coach was walking on the field. The refs had to have a meeting with the players. It was just, I don't know what it was. There was a lot of coach-player fighting, player-player fighting, coach-coach fighting. But yeah, this Friday I'll be going to Cigarroga versus Legacy Southwest. I believe they're from San Antonio. Cigarroga 3-0. And I just want to see them play high school football. United's traveling again, so I won't be able to see United again. That's one of the reasons why I'm going to Cigarroga's game. But yeah, I wish United good luck, and hopefully they beat Harlingen. But yeah, week 2, Eagles win. Follow your boy. 1-8 out. I'm a little bit drunk, I know, and I'm sweating in my car. But I'll see you guys next week.